welcome. My name is Ross Freeman. Some of you might know me. I'm the president of C.O.A.S.T, and Ricky's here to give us a nice little. He's going to videotape my fish room for everybody. So, for the new YouTube channel. So, yeah, let's go. Here are some of my breeders, my gold ocellatus that I've been working with. They turned out to be a little more difficult for some unknown reason. So I know the tanks, some people are going to say, God, those tanks look bad. No, they're in the rebuilding stage. I have some new ones down here that I'm going to mix together and try to get some pairs. They're not breeding as much as I would like them to be. So that's kind of why this kind of looks like a mess right now. But yeah, I've had other things that I've been working on. So yeah, this is just more gold ocellatus, and this bank over here is all going to be gone because there's things on that you'll see later on that you'll understand why I'm getting rid of this to make room for something else. Up here, this is my breeding colony of super red bushy nose and black antler, black bar antlers, and that's all that this is. I just took a bunch out and delivered them to a customer, so it's kind of picked over right now. And this is the grow out of them, but unfortunately with plecos they just like to hide, so you never really get to see them. So anyways, yeah, I don't know if you can see anything in there.
And these breed true, you said?
It has been, yes, they breed true as far as color, but they still kick out shorts and longs. Now, I found in here, it looked, when I went through them today, it seemed like it was maybe 60-40, 60 being the long fin, and the rest being short fin. So I'm going to work on getting those out of there and just making that only long fin.
Nice.
Some more endlers. This is the overpriced Steckel endler, and I have no idea why these things go for $50 a pair, but they do. I won't get that for them because I don't really care that much about them. So that's
Either grow out tanks?
more fry grow out tanks. Here's some more super red bushy nose. I know the tank is really dirty, but they seem to like it. For me, it works. Not for everybody will it work, but yeah. So that's
healthy.
They're healthy. They just ate up a bunch of rapashi.
You're feeding them the good stuff.
Well, you know what? To keep the color, it's a lot of the color in these guys is you got to feed them good food. And I mean, you'll see it in your dog, you see it in your cat, you see it in your fish. If you feed them good stuff, you get a better response from the dogs or cats. And in our case with fish, you'll get a better color, you'll get more breeding, and that kind of stuff.
What do we got here at this tank?
This is Limia perugi. This is a live bear.
Scotty special?
It is a Scotty special. Scotty's the one I got a lot of these from. I also got a lot from the club.
Check out that Omega 1 banner.
Yeah, this is what I've been told that we've got maybe something going on in the process with Omega 1. Maybe. We don't know yet. I know it's all top secret, but I did used to represent them back in the day.
Shout out Omega 1.
This is grow out of Nataludius and Pelvochromis subocellatus Mwanda. You see the adults over there that have the color. Sorry for the dirty tank, but I'm sure everybody's got at least one dirty tank in their fish room. Maybe not, but I do.
We got the brine shrimp corner.
This is the brine shrimp corner. The brine shrimp.
It's a classic design, you guys.
You can get this from Brine Shrimp Direct. I think it costs, I want to say the last time I bought them, they were like $50. and you get everything you see here, everything from that you just don't, and they're really, really good, I think, anyways.
I use the Zis breeder, the one from Zis. That one's pretty good too.
If you have a lot of fish and you're breeding a lot of fish, the bigger one is the cone. This is a good one. But the one you're talking about, I use, as you'll see, a Zix, however you pronounce it.
Oh shit. All right, what tank is this?
This is the super white fry.
Ooh, look
now,
at that super white baby, super white.
If we're
36.
lucky enough, one might come out, but these, there's one right there.
I see him. He's a little guy.
Those are, I would say, when was the party? Last month. So they're about a month or so old. When Scott was here, they were just they were eggs. Now they're,
sweet. What's down here?
This is just a fun holding tank of, there's Grisheki.
Nice, some cichlids.
Just this tank doesn't, this is just a tank. Nothing special. I mean, I am breeding the Grisheki, but it's more of just a tank to have to fun. These are some Norman's Eye Killies that I'm working with.
Wow, look at that color.
And the ones with the big rounder tails are the males, and the ones without, obviously, are the females. This is still going on. I haven't found the rosy barbs, like Rob McClure, our last speaker, said. If you put in rosy barbs, they supposedly will eat blackbeard algae down to nothing. They'll just eat it right out. I have not been able to find them, but I have been putting in Excel every day, and that seems to have kept it to a certain, at hand. But I still would like to see what the rosy barbs do.
You have pencil fish in this tank?
They're in there somewhere. Good luck trying to find them. They're about 3/4 of an inch, and I think they're about a 1/32 of an inch in width.
Wow.
They're really tiny. And here's more of that
Omega-1.
Omega-1.
You want to talk about this EVO?
No.
All right.
It's just, no, I mean, EVO is a good food. It's a great food, but it's kind of hard to come by, and it's very expensive. But if you want it, you can go to JLA Aquatics out of Colorado.
Yeah.
And speaking of them, they have just, no, it wasn't them, it was somebody else. I'm sorry.
Oh, more secrets.
More secrets.
All right.
They'll be released at the club meeting. I have some news about an online store that is supporting our club. That
Awesome.
I've been not trying, it was just kind of fell into it. But anyways, this is my breeding group of Nataludius. This is a male. You can see the male not just by size, but he does not have the dot in the, the females will have the double black dot in the dorsal. And that's a female, and this is the male. And now I'm just waiting for him to pair off. Actually got these from Rick, not Rick, you're Rick. Michael Lou out of Connecticut, and he's actually going to come out and speak next year at our club.
That's a beautiful fish.
They are, and they're on the endangered species. They're on the CARES list, and that's one of the reasons why I'm keeping them.
I have the same type of thing with the Goodeids right now. That's my contribution to conservation.
And here's some red shoulder Severums that are going to be, some of these are going to be coming to the auction on Sunday because I need to get rid of a bunch of males. They look good too, but they're very nice looking. And then these guys, this is another really super rare fish that I've had people, a lot of big time people in the hobby, flat out tell me they're just ugly and they won't sell. Well,
what's their name?
They are Papatera, say S. Papatera.
S. papateris.
Yeah, I can't pronounce Satan something. I can't pronounce the stupid name. That one isn't doing so good. I don't know why, but he's holding on. And the other ones are just in there. I just like the fish. A good friend of mine, Stan's son, gave me these, so I'm keeping them going. Over here we have zebra plecos, the most that I'm just working with, feeding and taking care of, but I have not had any success yet with spawning them.
Wow, look how many there are. How many is in there?
I think there's a total of 6, and 5 are females and 1 male.
Oh.
And if you found a really round face, which it looks like that's the one that's right here, that would be the male.
Oh. He's trying to invite a girl in.
I hope.
On a Friday night.
It would be nice. I don't care if it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Any day.
Any day. It's just, come on, dude.
I get it going.
Let's get it going. And then these are the super whites.
What do we have here?
And here we have something special that we can show.
Make sure the camera gets it.
Can you get that?
Wow, look at that.
And everybody, this, even though the Mega Master Regenta, who we had speak last year to our club, he does not use the almond leaves. But as you can see, almond leaves definitely work. They definitely like the biofilm off the almond leaves.
They're stuck on it good.
Yeah,
they don't want to get
look,
off of it.
I mean, I'm moving my hand. There's one swimming around on the bottom, but
that's the parents in here?
Yeah, somebody in here did it. I don't know which one.
There's a good amount.
There's 8. There's 8 total in here. And so far from my photo, I've been photographing them, trying to find out the males. I know I have at least 3 males, so it might be 3 males to 5 females. I'm not sure, but we shall see.
What's up here?
More super whites,
Wow,
but
I can't really see them, but that's okay. You can just kind of take a peek.
There's more.
That's good enough.
There's more up there. They're hiding. But these are the first. This was my first ever spawn. These guys, as you can tell, they're 5 months old. I was actually going through because Ricky had wanted me to go through my backlog for some photos, and I was actually found out that their birth date is not the 14th, which is my birthday. It's actually the 7th. But I was able to round. These are almost 6 months old.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
Then we have, these are the, here's those pelvichromas.
Oh.
And you can tell why you want to, they're so, the purple.
Yeah, look at that.
That's an old Groot, but these are eventually going bye-bye as well.
Because of what we have in here?
Because what we have in here. Now this,
wow.
as we can tell, there are super yellows. Majority of them are super yellows, but not like that one. I mean, they're all just...
They're so yellow. You guys can't probably see it in the camera. Maybe you can, but they're really nice.
Well, the thing is, I was told that super whites in general will kick these out, but not every super white will kick these out. So I got lucky on these. So, and you guys at the club get lucky.
We get to see it go inside their home, their grow out tank?
Yep, poop and everything.
Oh,
there it goes.
Look at the new home, guys.
Yeah, they gotta come out.
It's not every day you get to see a bunch of super whites take up a new home.
And the black bar antlers will be coming out of there. They're just in there to get a little, just to make sure that
cycling.
Yeah, I know the water's good because it came from my planted tank. But and these guys are, let's see, July, August, September. These guys are only about 4 months. And I don't know if the yellow will hold, or if the yellow is going to go to cream, or it's going to go back to white. I don't know that.
That's still crazy.
That's still.
So that's what you're working on? That's what you're moving the gold ocella's out for?
Yes. That's I've been lucky so far that I've gotten a few spawns. So that's what it's eventually going to be taking over. Then this is just my planted tank.
How big is this tank? This is a big
150.
tank. 150. Down here is a big tank, but it's empty.
This is going to be my sump for all this.
That's a major filtration there.
Well, no, it's basically the blue barrel I have in the other corner produces the water, so I'm just going to bring it over and store it here, and then I can just change all my main breeding tanks to this water. And otherwise, I don't really have a need for this tank right now, so why not do that? And we'll go from there.
The tetras look really happy in here.
Yeah, the tetras those are blood moon tetras, and then there's blue and gold Congos that are hiding in the back. If we throw a little food in there, you'll get to see them come out, because they are not shy when it comes to eating. There's a big male. There you go. You might get your GoPro a little wet there, Ricky, but
wow, that's a pretty fish.
yeah, and unfortunately, it's not an inexpensive fish either. For whatever reason, these things wholesale for about $45 to $50 a pop.
Wow. And these are adults?
Yeah, but I've had these I got majority of these from Dan's Fish.
Shout out Dan's Fish.
And Jeff at Aquatic Clarity, who's another person that I'm working on trying to get him to come and speak to our club. He's a friend of Rob McClure's, who is now a friend of C.O.A.S.T. So I'm got those coming. But if you guys are looking for really rare tetras or cichlids or any of that kind of stuff, I highly, highly, highly recommend Jeff at Aquatic Clarity.
He's awesome.
Yeah. See, Jeff, I'm plugging you, so you have to come and speak to our club. That's the end of my plugs.
Do it, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm looking at more of these super yellows or super whites.
These are all super whites.
Super whites.
I don't know, because there's a tinge because of the almond leaf, that it gives a little tinge to the water. So I don't know.
Got a decent number in there.
There's 12. And these were hatched, Ricky, before I went to the ACA. I was doing a water change on this tank here, cleaning it up before I had to leave. Came back with my bucket of water, did my water, all of a sudden they just went, they're everywhere. And I don't even, the only thing I can tell is I know that there is a piece of wood in that aquarium there that has a cave, and they may have done it naturally as far as opposed to going into one of the caves. If I throw food in there and you just stand back, you can get of baby super whites that are really spazzing out right now because I just took their rock away. But I'll put their rock back. So I don't know if they can get that on camera or not. But that's about it.
Can we talk a little bit about that EBO foods you have up there?
Oh, yes. This food here, in my opinion, solely my opinion, as you can tell, I've got a lot of different kinds of foods up here, and I've tried a ton of foods. But in my opinion, This food here, this is the EBO, this is the crumble. This is a crumble. Different sizes, I just put it all in one can. But the cool thing about this is so you don't have to go out and buy, you know, the fish powders and the really small food, then the medium food, then this crumble's soft, so you can just break it up in your fingers, and you don't have to feed as much, because I find when you feed too much to these planted tanks, you start getting a lot of snails, and you don't have to do you get rid of the snails, just cut back on your food load. And it's all small. Everything from my Norman's eye to the biggest fish in the tank all can eat the stuff, and what doesn't get eaten goes down to the ground, and the smaller fish that are on the ground can eat it up. For the plecos, this is one of the main foods I feed. It's a paste. And the super whites, the zebras don't care so much for it, but the super whites love it. And the super reds, they don't care. They'll eat anything. They really truly don't care. But the super whites, this is primarily what I feed them. I do not feed the fry. These guys don't seem to like it, and the guys up in the 22 don't seem to like it. They do like it in the form of a pellet. I don't know why. You know, who knows? Some people like their food medium rare, some like it well done. So that could be the reason. I have no idea. But yeah, so that's what goes on here in my fish room. More than welcome to come up and, you know, ask me any questions. If there's something here you see or want to know about, I'm accessible. You just meet me up at the meeting, and we'll go from there. See ya.
So Ross, we've got you here, end of the fish room tour. I just kind of wanted to go over some of these questions that we're going to start posing to all the members of our club, that whenever we do a fish room tour, we're going to kind of have an outline of things, what we can ask them. So it's going to be kind of taking shape, but you know, bear with us. We're going to kind of figure out some questions here. And the first one being, of course, you know, Ross, how long have you been a fish keeper, and what kind of keeps you in it?
Well, I've been in it since roughly 8th or 9th grade, so that makes you what? 12, 13? So I've been doing it that long, but I really got into this as I was born into it. My dad being an earth science teacher, and my dad had breeding fish, goldfish primarily, when I was a kid. And then it turned into, we had monkeys and squirrels and snakes and birds and you name
monkeys.
It. All that, yeah, all that crap was brought home in my, you know, short periods, not long. We didn't have anything for a long time except for the snakes. My dad liked the snakes, so we had snakes. And then, you know, as I grew up, I wasn't really, when I was little, I wasn't really into it. But then about, like I said, about 8th grade, I got into it. Then high school is when I think I got my first tank. And my dad, funny story, my dad said, hey, I was going up to Big Bear, or Mammoth, going up to Mammoth for cross country, because I was on the cross country team. And they gave me, my dad gave me like, I don't know, 60, 80 bucks. And that was my meal money. And he said, but when you get back, we'll get you a tank, like I don't know, 30 or 40. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't spend a single penny. I ate everybody else's food when the seniors were out running. I was stealing their food out of the refrigerator, so I didn't have to spend my money. And I came home and I got my first tank, which was, funny as it is, back then, this was what, 1979, 80, something like that. I got discus. Not the discus you see now. It's more like the brown discus, what they would probably say now is a wild discus. And then from there, it just manifested into the big disease that it is now, that I've got everything. I don't have any discus, but I've got all that other stuff, and now it's plecos and nanoluteus and planted tanks and being a president of a fish club and all that stuff.
Nice. Have you ever had to kind of come back to the hobby in your life over a few times? Did you ever have any pauses and stops?
Nah, well, I would say when the tank I had for a little while, the first tank, and then, you know, you get older and maybe it took I think my brother took over my tank. So I'd say high school I wasn't really that much into it. I was into whatever you're into in high school, doing that stuff. And then I was, for a while, then I was working at a board and care for the mentally and physically handicapped. And there was one guy that he would really get self-stimulated by the wind and seeing airplanes fly. So we'd go down and sit at the airport, and on the way home we would stop at my buddy's store, which is the Passiones, which owns Strictly Fish, and I'd give the guy that I was taking care of, I'd give him a soda and some chips, and he'd sit in my truck and just have his snack, and I'd go into the store and just shoot the shit with those guys. Well, one thing came to another, that C.O.A.S.T at the time was looking for a truck driver, and they asked me if I wanted the job, and I said sure. And then once I got that job, then things really just exploded, because I was in fish stores every day, 5 days a week, and all the people that I know now, and a lot of the people that I know now, are from that era. So
Wow.
I know the relationships and whatnot.
So you actually had a lot of kind of a background in the fish industry, so to speak.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I mean, I was hired on at Casco as the C-Clear driver, and I was in charge. I delivered tanks all the way to from Utah to Mexico.
Whoa.
Not in Mexico, but I'd go to the border.
Crazy.
I'd go to the border, and then while doing that for a while, then I hurt my back, so they put me into outside sales. So that ramped up even more, and in the outside sales, I met Stan Sung, who some people may know. He's one of the mentors. I wouldn't know half the stuff of a lot of these rarer fish if it wasn't for him. He's the one that got me into, you can only put South American fish with South American fish, you can only put Asian fish with Asian fish. I, at the time, only had one tank, so I would put everything into one tank, and he wanted to block it out. And from him, I sold Stan a tank that was a $50,000 fish tank.
Wow.
And yeah, the number sounds big, but the tank really wasn't. It was an arch tank, but it had to be boomed over a person's house and put in. Well,
it's like that show. What is that show called where they do custom reef tanks? That sounds crazy.
Yeah, the two guys. What is it? I'll get back to that. I'll try to think of the name of that show. But anyway, so
would you say that experience overall and kind of has provided you insight, maybe some expertise into being club president?
Yes and no. I mean, as people have gotten to know me, I don't know that I'm really, I would say I'm very rough around the edges, and then being thrown into the presidential role, and I'm learning still that I need to dump some of how I normally am and trying to be more presidential, and I'm slowly getting there. Talking in front of people is not one of my better attributes, but it's turning, it's working its way to becoming a little bit better.
I feel like you keep it blunt and you keep it honest, but I guess it's a matter of maybe polishing things.
Yeah, I need to polish a little bit more. But back to that trip in the 50,000, the Casco didn't give me any kind of a commission or anything on that deal, and Stan so nicely said, hey, he found out and he goes, hey, we're going to Uruguay, would you like to go? And he paid for my flight, and we went down and collected in Uruguay.
Wow.
I met Felipe. He has now, unfortunately, passed away about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. But that's where I met John Niemans. who, if you belong to Coast, you know John Neiman's. But he again was another mentor that what Stan didn't teach me in breeding fish, John has gone above and beyond, and I wouldn't know 90% of what I know is because of him. And he is a wealth of information. And if anybody's in the club wants information, he's the person to go talk to, in my opinion. So,
would you say your family is supportive of your hobby? Do they kind of appreciate your passion?
Well, my boys, they like it. They like showing it to their friends.
Your boys are how old?
20. One's at Oklahoma, hence the sweatshirt. Oklahoma, go Boomers. And then the other one is at Utah, go Utes. And they're Jackson, my oldest, he appreciates the fish what they are. I don't think either one of them will probably ever have a fish tank, but they appreciate what I'm doing. My wife likes it, but I think she would rather this be in some other place than her garage. But that said, no, they know this is my passion, but it's not my passion that I put everything else on the back burner. My family comes first. This is definitely right behind them, and you know, I am so thankful that I have a space to have this. I've never had this many tanks. I've always had just one, and now I have so many different tanks, and with the people from the club bringing in so many different fish, the people that I've met in the industry, the ACAs that I've been to that have shown me this fish or that fish, and then I'm able to obtain some of those fish, like these Nataludius that are up here that are on the C.O.A.S.T species list, or on the endangered list, or these super whites that are behind this. If you're wondering why there's a towel, it's because they're on eggs and they like it dark. Zebra plecos, which when I was doing it, zebra plecos used to cost like 25 bucks.
Still a holy grail fish.
It's a holy grail fish, yes, but I think the super whites, in my opinion, are
That's the new grail fish.
That's my new holy grail. And I've been successful so far, knock on wood, that I've spawned them a few times, and yeah.
You brought up the topic of a few different fish that you're breeding, and I guess that's one of the last couple questions we have here for the talk. What would you say is the current focus or passion for your fish room? Are you a breeder, a conservationist, for-profit breeder?
I'm a conservationist in the sense that I understand where some of these fish come from, like the Nataludius. So I'm not big in trying to save where they're from so much, because obviously that's Central America. But if I can keep the fish and give the fish to other people, and they can enjoy them, and we can keep the fish in the hobby, then yes, I'm a conservationist. But I would say I'm more of a breeder slash hobbyist. With, you know, you always have, most people that get to where I'm at always hope and pray that they can start producing enough fish to sell to support your hobby, so you don't have to have another income to pay for it. And I've been
self-sustaining hobby.
Yeah, I mean, I breed certain fish. The bushy nose, super red bushy nose. It's a great fish to breed. Really not that difficult, but it's marketable. There's enough people out there and they breed so profusely that you can pay for your hobby through those fish. The super whites, which is, you were asking what is my main, what keeps me interested or keeps me going. The super whites are my main focus right now. I've been lucky. I've had them for 4 years. It took 4 years to get them to spawn. Now, like I said, knock on wood, they're spawning pretty semi-regularly so far.
Wow, 4 years. Patience really is a virtue, isn't it?
It is with plecos, because some plecos you have to wait till they get to breedable size, and that might be 2.5 feet. And if you're 70 years old or 61 like I am, you ain't gonna be around when they're big enough to breed. So you almost have to give those fish to your kids, and if they don't want them, who cares?
That's why we stick to the bristlenose.
That's why you stick to
not
the bush.
pseudocanthus,
yes.
monsters.
Like like the ludus.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful fish.
It's a big, beautiful, beautiful fish. They're bright yellow from Argentina. They're gorgeous. but there's very few people that have bred that. And I don't really, some people like to hang their hat on, they've bred 1,000, it's not the fish, it's how many fish they've bred. I myself, I think I'm more of a hobbyist that just happened to fall into a role where I was in the industry for 25 years, and I've made a lot of relationships, which I'm bringing back to the club. And if I can get these people through the speakers to come and talk to the club to expand one person or every person that's in the club's attention to whatever that speaker's speaking about, then I think I've done my job. And I do see this being the president or being the program guy as a job, even though it's a job that you don't get paid. It's just how much time you want to put in it, and I just want to make the club better than I got it. Not saying that the club was in a bad shape when I got it, but it's my job to leave it for the next guy, that he doesn't have to do the stuff that I did. He can keep it pushing it forward, and that's really
leave it better than you found it.
Yeah, leave it better than I found it, and that's
a great
what I'm
motto
really.
for the club.
Yeah, it is. You get wrapped up in these things, in things like that fall through the cracks, and they don't think about it. But it is. It's you want to leave the hobby or the club better than it was when you got it, and like for the younger people that are in the hobby that are just getting younger, being not by age but by how many years you've been in the fish hobby. Those are the people that are sponges that just want to absorb, and some people are very standoffish and don't want to tell you the secrets of breeding this fish or that fish. I don't care, because breeding the fish is not the hard part. Raising it up to sellable or tradable size is where the work comes in. And that's something John Niemans has told me many, many times. Anybody can breed a fish, but can you take it from fry to sellable size, which is about 2 inches? And can you do that on a regular basis?
It's true.
And if you can accomplish that, then, and I would say then you're a breeder. You know what you're doing. And don't worry and the other thing is people go, well, I don't want to kill it. If you're not killing fish in this hobby, you're not learning, as far as I'm concerned.
It's an unfortunate reality we have to accept.
Exactly. It's a very unfortunate reality.
Doesn't mean that we can't try to do better, but we have to move it forward for the next generation, right?
Yeah. Thank God we're not breeding cows.
All right, last question here, Ross. Do you ever consider or think about, I don't want to say an exit plan for the hobby or for your fish room, but your legacy or how would you kind of want to look back and define it, sort of what you put forth in the hobby?
I have no exit plan. It's basically when I die, and if my wife is still alive, or my kids, I'm assuming my kids will still be alive, it'll be their problem to do with it. It'll just be come in and take and get rid of it and done. Because I don't really have an exit problem. But as far as the club goes, if I all of a sudden have to move away or I'm not going to be involved with the club anymore, I just want to, I want to talk less and
do more.
Yeah, do more and listen more. You sometimes learn more from other people if you're approachable. You don't want to be standoffish or have a really mean, snarly look on your face, because then nobody's going to come up and talk to you.
Yeah.
And if nobody comes up and talks to you, the knowledge that you have accumulated through the years of you being around, they're never going to know it. They're never going to know that Ross Freeman bred super whites or Ross Freeman bred Nanoluteus. And those things are the fish are, again, not important. It's more the information and passing that forward. So I hope that me being who I am, whether it's the president, the speaker, just a member of the fish club for C.O.A.S.T, that I feel that people can come up to me and ask me anything, and I'll help them. I'll help them any way I can. We're helping a guy out in Riverside right now that's dying of bone cancer, and we're trying to help him out any way we can through moving his fish, selling his fish, and that's what ultimately I think.
That's what the community's for, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and if I'm going to leave a legacy, then it's going to be the legacy of caring for other hobbyists. I mean, that's really what it boils down to, because you can put on all the hats you want, you can puff your chest out, but at the end of the day, we're talking fish. It's like Allen Iverson said, practice. We're talking fish. We're not saving, we're not putting the war in the Middle East to rest. We're not solving homelessness. No, we're breeding fish. And the fish are the conduit to bringing people together, to talking, to building bridges and relationships. And that's what I wanted. That's mostly what I want. I just wanted to be known, I guess, for that, is that I brought people, I didn't bring people together. The club that I was given the guardianship for a short amount of time has brought more people together, and it's expanded its base.
Totally, yeah. I think it's a great thing, and we're gonna definitely dive more into more members' fish rooms. We're gonna do more interviews, kind of like this, and really just kind of get a more personal touch with our community, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what you have. I mean, if everybody sits in the club and just sits there, buys their plants or buys their fish and goes home, we don't know what's going on. And we don't, not that we need to know what's going on in their lives, but I mean, I'd like to know what fish Ricky's breeding. I know he's breeding some kind of quarries, but without him telling me that, and our friendship that we've had in a short amount of time, I wouldn't have known that. And maybe I do want to get into quarries at some point, and Ricky can give me some pointers, and that's what it is. And the speakers, bringing speakers in from all over. I've got Chris Biggs, Chris Biggs. I know some people might not think much of him, but he's coming in January.
Little Easter egg.
Yeah.
For those who watch this video.
Well, I mean, come to the club in January, and you're going to get a lot of information and a big personality, but most importantly, a super nice guy that will open up his heart to anything, to anyone. At least he has been with me. He's given me all kinds of information and other leads to getting other people to come and speak at the club, i.e., shoot, now I forgot his name. I sounded all...
Rob?
No, well, Rob was definitely one. He said definitely get him. No, Spencer Jack.
Oh, that's right.
Spencer Jack, the biggest wholesaler in Canada that I know of. And if it wasn't for Chris Biggs, I wouldn't have gotten Spencer.
Yeah. We've definitely had some great speakers this year in 2024, and a lot of that, shout out to you, Ross, and other members of the board who helped put that together. We're definitely going to keep rolling that into 2025, and we're going to do bigger and better stuff like the 2025 Aqua Swap. So yeah, we'll definitely be looking forward to that. And we have the food drive. You said something about homelessness earlier. We didn't solve it, but we're working towards it.
Yeah, I mean, we took Ricky and the board and I, we kind of put our heads together and we thought, what could the club do for community? It was, some people talk about community all the time, but they don't do anything. Well, we thought as a club, I mean, we don't have a huge following, but we have enough people that care. So we called on a few stores, Elliott's, The Reef, Bob's. No, not Bob's. Nolan's. Yeah, Nolan's is the reason why.
Verdant
Vivariums. I just can't pronounce that name. It's just, it's like putting a bunch of marbles.
Shout out to Bonnie, our speaker for November.
Speaker, she's coming out. She's going to talk about her trip to going to Ecuador and some undescribed fish and shrimp and stuff. But that's what it is. I mean, and getting out there and getting food, and giving back to the homeless, giving back to the sheltered animals. I mean, that's when you know your club is really successful. If you have a group of people that are willing to leave the club and go out and be completely new to a whole nother thing, and give those the food. I mean, these people are freezing outside in some places, and who knows, your can of soup or your dog food saved that dog or put food in their stomach that night. And it'd be nice to know that we get some recognition for that. And then it's going to become a thing as we go on next year and the year after and the year after. Then it's just become, oh, it's the food drive again. Boom. And I would love to have double the stores. But you got to start somewhere. And C.O.A.S.T has started. We have that going. And if we're lucky enough, it'll blow, and maybe we end the homelessness. I don't know if C.O.A.S.T is going to be the reason for it, but we can at least have our hand in the pot to help solve the problem.
At least help less hungry families during the holidays, at least, right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, so
that's what it's about. Well, thanks so much, Ross, for this interview, for having the opening up your home for the tour and showing us what you're working on back here. It's really cool. I learned a lot. Definitely saw some cool fish. Really love these gobies over here. But
hopefully
again,
I can breed them. If I breed them, I'll give you some.
All right. Well, thank you again.
All right, no problem. Thank you.